Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm joined today by Anna Greenfield, who is the head of marketing content at Veldskoen. And Anna and I sat on the marketing in Indaba a couple of months ago, and I really just enjoyed our chat, Anna. So I thought I'd invite you onto our podcast just to hear some of your insights and the most amazing, innovative ways that you are approaching, marketing in a pandemic, as well as just generally building a community and a brand. So welcome.
Thank you so much. It's so lucky to be here.
Thank you. And so you're sitting at home, and how's that working out for you?
It's like, can I show you? Can I show you your listeners? And here's my office.
Show us.
Right, cool. My kids have gone for a walk now. I'm privileged and lucky to have a nanny helping us out in this time, and so it looks quite professional where I am. But this is the rest of the room.
As long as it looks professional here and nobody needs to see the chaos that behind you. And I know, look, working from home with kids, I found to be the most challenging thing. Not only obviously doing all the home stuff as well, but, they want to sit on my lap and then they want to work on the computer. And I don't want to be a horrible mommy that's always saying, go away. And oh no, I found it really, really hard. So as soon as we could come into the office, I was like, I am out of here. But on the other hand, I did love it. I loved being with my kids the whole time. How old are yours?
My son's 2.5 and my daughter's just turned 1 now.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. No, that's challenging. Yeah. Thank God for nannies. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Like now they used to go to a day mother as well. And there was a stage during COVID where I decided that if we need to do a very illegal day mother situation and I need to smoke all my children, to the other side of town,
put them in the boot.
If the cops stop me during hard lockdown, what have you got in the boot? And I'd be like, nothing. So I totally get what you're saying, because you can't focus, and then you have mom guilt, and it's hard. Yeah. But Anna nanny's lovely. She takes them for walks, and they cry when she goes home. I
know, being a working mom. Look, I know there are working dads that have the same challenges as working moms, so I'm not stereotyping. And I'm also, I once tried to create posts about being a female entrepreneur and a mom entrepreneur, and then I was like, actually, any working woman has the same challenges I have. There's no difference. I mean, the fact is that we do have a lot of guilt. And, it's about managing that, not buying them so many gifts just to get over your guilty feelings, but actually try to spend time with them. When I get home, I put my phone down, and weekends, no one can reach me. My phone is off. I'm literally, it's kid time until they're sleeping. And so, but those are our challenges. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself, Anna. Give us a little quick rundown of your work experience, your history. How did you end up in this role?
I ended up in this role. The only way I ever end up anywhere is I'm never headhunted or asked to do anything. I basically approach people and go, "Hi, ek is Anna, ek maak tee," and then I found that my entire life, if I wanted to do something, I have to go and inform people. Hello, you have a problem. I am the solution for this problem. If you don't believe me, let's do a little trial, and I'll grow on you like a
like a rash.
Like a rash. So what happened was I studied drama. I was going to be an actress. And it didn't work out. And then I worked in radio for 4 years, and that was amazing. And then I moved to Cape Town, and then I realized, okay, there's a bit of a ceiling with this radio business. I love it and I enjoy it, but I need to break up with the station before the station breaks up with me, because if you know radio people, you'll know that you do the breakfast show, and then you do the drive show, and then you do the lunchtime show, and then suddenly you have to get another job to support your radio hobby. So then what I did is I went to business school part-time. During the last year I was on radio, and then I was with a small station in Cape Town called Bok Radio. I went to business school and I did a PG dip. And then after that, I did a full-time MBA for a
Oh,
year.
wow. Wow, full time.
And after that, yeah, I took off. I was very lucky. My fiance and I at that stage, he was keeping us alive and I was studying full time.
Wow.
And the plan was that I was going to get a super, super fancy job after my MBA. And then I could get no job after my MBA. That was like the strangest thing. I thought people were going to be throwing money at me and work at me, going, yes, come to our company, teach us things, make us rich. No.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah, and then I hustled a bit. Then I said, okay, well, I've always loved stories and I've always loved making stories and telling stories and collecting other people's stories. So then I spent some time doing content for Boer Soek 'n Vrou.
Oh, wow.
And then I did content for free because by that time I was pregnant, married and pregnant, for Afrikaans, which is a film production company that ended up making Survivor and then a whole bunch of local shows on Via and Kyknet. So yeah, I had an interesting journey, and then I ended up back in radio, but this time on the marketing side, not behind the mic, and writing radio content for a Christian radio station in Cape Town, Radio Tygerberg.
Oh, wow.
And then because my husband's obsessed with golf, I met the Veldskoen humans at a golf day.
Okay.
And started moonlighting with them for a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, and then after about 6 months of moonlighting and working at the radio station and having a baby and figuring that out, I sat the Veldskoen management team down and told them, you have a problem. I am the solution. I must come be here 5 days a week now. And they said yes. And that's how it happened.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's such a good story. But I can't believe your background's so heavy in, TV, radio production. So how have you woven that into your current role? Do you feel like it's helped you in any way?
Yes, it's weird. Like after doing the MBA and I was doing all of these job interviews, right? Trying to become a manager, a grown-up job somewhere. And it was sort of like everyone was telling me, okay, you have a really weird combination of things. You have a business degree, you don't have business experience, you have experience in making things.
Yes.
In making stories and making content. And actually my weird collection of experiences has ended up being perfect for what I do now.
It's amazing how that works out. I've literally also done like a show or something on this. I know I've covered this topic so many times, but I'm so passionate about that, how you think your whole life has been like the weirdest, most hodgepodge, disjointed career job. And then all of a sudden it just dovetails. And for some people who are fortunate like you, it dovetails when you're younger. For other people like me, it only dovetailed when I started this company that I have now. Then I was like, that's why I had to work there, work for that person, get that experience. It all comes together. But I really believe for each person, it all comes together at some point. So that's why it's difficult. Yeah.
If your place doesn't exist, you have to make your place.
That's also true. That's true.
If there aren't people to show up for and say, hi, I am the solution to your problem, then maybe you are the solution to your own problem.
That's true. That's true. So that's the thing. It's like when you're younger, just go out and solve problems, just insert yourself into people's lives. And at some point, it's all going to come together. But it's difficult when you're younger to know what your career should be, what you should study. But somehow it all comes together, no matter which path you choose. So I believe in this very strongly.
Yeah, I think people get too nervous about sort of like, oh, what am I going to be for my entire life? I mean, how boring would it be if you were only one thing for your entire life?
That is true.
Like, the time of, you go and study and you become a doctor and you are now a doctor forever is over. Lots of doctors ditch their jobs and become restaurant owners now.
Yeah.
And then they go back to medicine and then you have options to be many things and to take the old thing you were and to invent a new thing as the world changes.
But then also, I think maybe on the other side, I've met a lot of people in their 30s who incredible, gifted, have studied and have no career and are earning like 3,000 Rand a month. And so there are also people, I think that's why I feel digital marketing is such a great catch-all, because if you can write and if you have half a brain, to be able to understand somebody's business or be able to understand, clients' needs, you can be a digital marketer. And it's a great career. Like I've taken so many people through Shift One, which is almost like a little training academy for people who want to start their own agencies. And we've basically skilled them in digital marketing, and they're now like thriving. They're either working at companies or ad agencies, or they're actually running their own digital marketing agencies. So, I mean, I think a lot of people maybe wait for something to happen, and they don't, like you did. You just made it happen for you. You can't wait. No one's going to come along and save you. Because I think when I started Shift One, I was always trying to meet someone who was going to open that door. And I quickly learned nobody opens doors for you. You flipping have to open your own doors. You have to bash them down like you did. I love it.
You have to make doors as well. Like, exactly. You have to actually feel like there should be one here.
I love that. I'm just going to angle Brian's door or whatever the tool is. I love that.
I totally agree with you. I think the world is changing so quickly, right? And this is perhaps a good segue into our conversation about digital, because digital is changing faster than anything else. But the world is changing quickly. So if you wait for someone, if you wanted to be an artist and you're going to wait for someone to now discover you, that's not going to happen. No. You show yourself to people. People get discovered off YouTube. And if they don't get discovered, that's okay, because they'll build a following and be able to finance and sell whatever they make themselves.
I completely love that.
No one is looking to discover you.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go sell yourself. And
that's why digital is so amazing, because if you're a writer, start your own blog, publish your books one blog at a time, consolidate them into, you know, an article, a book. You'll have, once you build your own following, you don't need a publishing house. You don't need someone to take you there, you know.
So many things have been democratized because of the internet.
Exactly, 100%. Magazines, we want to be in a magazine. Everyone used to want like their press releases to get picked up, and now it's like, well, actually, I'm just going to start my own blog.
Yeah, and send it directly to the humans I want to send it to, because I can access them.
Exactly. Yeah, 100% right. I love it. Okay, so what is it that you have? How is it that you have woven so you're a story maker, basically. I love that. You're a story maker. How have you woven storytelling into, you know, your head of marketing and content role at Veldskoen?
So I'd like to think of myself as a story strategist.
That's a new one.
Yeah, I don't just tell random stories. It's about telling the right stories to the right people, which basically is marketing, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's giving the right people the thing that they need.
100%.
And I find that the way to do this is through stories. And I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent now about word of mouth, which to me is like the most powerful and wonderful thing, and also the oldest form of marketing in the world. And to me, storytelling and word of mouth are very closely connected. So if you go back to like the days of the cavemen, where, you know, the one caveman would tell the other caveman, you know, you must go chop down those kinds of trees, totally make the best firewood. And then he would take the credibility of his caveman neighbor, who he trusts, you know, to help him survive, and he would go chop down that, you know, that firewood over there for his fires now. That's word of mouth. And like, I mustn't get lost with my story now. I mustn't get so busy.
I'm lost. I'm listening.
But the point is, so word of mouth through storytelling is informal. The trust that you have for the person that says the thing to you rubs off onto the product that they're telling you to use. I mean, it could also go horribly wrong. It could also be the other caveman neighbor that he completely doesn't trust and who never has good fires, you know, and be like, I'm not going to use your trees. Look at your fires. So, I mean, it could go horribly wrong. But word of mouth from a person that you trust and that you admire and that you have strong feelings for is super powerful. And the way word of mouth works is through storytelling, because that's how humans communicate. It's where the connection lies as well. So for me, I work with that, trying to create word of mouth or something that looks like word of mouth everywhere.
So and online, speaking, like what is that practically speaking? Give me an example, because it sounds like influencer marketing. Is it influencer marketing?
A lot of it is. I think influencer marketing is second prize. First prize is to get your friends to share a thing with someone they care about. So for example, I'm obsessed with Malcolm Gladwell's podcast, Revisionist History.
I'm going to make a note of
So
that.
I've now just told all of your viewers and listeners about Malcolm Gladwell's podcast, Revisionist History, because it's amazing, right? I don't work for him. Yes. I just love him.
Yes, I also love him. I have all his books.
I discovered him after I have kids, so I have to go for the audiobooks first. That's why I found the podcast first, because I don't have time to sit and read.
Time to read.
I need to communicate. I need to consume content while I do other things.
Definitely.
Anyway, so I think the first prize is getting people that you really trust in your real life. Those people must advocate for products through storytelling and through connection. And then second prize is influencer marketing, because influencer marketing is sort of like, Malcolm Gladwell isn't my neighbor or my friend, but I admire him and I want to be his friend, right? Yes. So if he says, buy these pots and pans or buy these earphones or buy these whatever, you know, or not even buy them, just like I happen to use them, then that's also a way to create something similar to word of mouth.
So Anna, you've moved now to your car because of kids and distractions, so that's perfect. But let's just, so to be clear, your highest level is almost like user-generated content. So like where your customers are creating content for you. And I often say that user-generated content is, you know, a marketing nirvana, because customers are, you know, selling for you. They basically, you don't need to even create a content plan because everything's just coming off. Your customers are doing everything for you. And it's believable. Like you said, it's believable, it's credible, it's trustworthy, it's informal. So, you know, whereas anything a brand creates is automatically slightly less trusted than something a user creates. But how are you seeding that content? How do you get that conversation going?
I wouldn't say that the user needs to create the content. I would say that the user needs to back the content. So I don't need someone to make a little video for me. Like, obviously, if someone sends a photo to us wearing a pair of Veldskoen, then me sharing that photo on our stories and tagging them makes them feel special and lets other people see that real people wear Veldskoen and love Veldskoen, right? So that's great on many levels. But if I were to make a little Veldskoen video, for example, for Father's Day, that connects with you know, with our customer base, and people share that video, then they back the content I made.
I love that.
So then I get word of mouth or something that looks like word of mouth from them, because they share that video with their friends saying, look at the sweet content, like, look at the sweet story for Father's Day that Veldskoen did. And then their friends, the credibility of like, we're friends and you sent me this lovely thing, that rubs off on us.
Yes.
So it's word of mouth is like people showing that they use your product, but it's also people just sharing the things you make because you tell good stories that really connect with them, that really, really connect with them. So, and sorry, like, I took a very long way to get there, but the thing you want to do is you want to tell stories that really connect with people, and then they'll share those stories on their own, and then they will become advocates for you. So it's not that there's like a magical secret sauce or a trick. The thing is, you have to know what your customers want and where they are. It's like, it's all the old stuff people have been telling us for years. It really is all of that.
I know. It really is. It's how well do you understand your customer segments? For me, everything comes down to customer segmentation. Like, have you broken down your customers? I've even got a blog about this with like this free customer segmentation table on our website. And basically, because I believe in it so much, the more granular your segments are, the more you can really get into them and really understand them. Because as a marketer, it's hard to not hard sell. You know, we have to like really understand and love our customers and by micro segments, because then you're going to create relevant content that is shared as opposed to just broad generic content that doesn't really resonate with anybody because you're trying to reach everybody. So I love this. So how have you segmented your audiences?
Okay, so our audience segmentation is less like in terms of, you know, 34-year-old white female has 2 children, drives, you know, this kind of car, lives in this area.
Yeah.
Our segmentation is emotional.
Oh, I love that.
Because our product, our shoe is a product that I suppose people would say is an aspirational product, because we have customers from various income brackets that buy our shoes. We have people that save to buy our shoes because they connect with what the shoe stands for, which is a love and a pride, is a love for South Africa, a pride in being South African. So we connect with our whole vibe is to connect with the type of life a person wants to have, the type of person you want to be seen as, and that you want to see yourself as.
I love it.
So a lot of our storytelling is around adventure and ambition and being gritty and being resilient and being creative. And so it's a lot of it is a word we made up, South Africanness.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of it is connecting with South Africanness, and then like with the spirit of adventure and moving forward and discovery, and so because we use that in our storytelling, we connect with people from all walks of life.
Exactly. I think that's brilliant. I think that's absolutely genius. So basically you might have your more creative, I don't know what your different segments might be, but for a shoe, you might have someone who's younger and wants to embrace a whole bunch of, history, this terribly flawed history of South Africa, but it is still our history. It is still our culture. It's still our, who we are as a country. So it's not based on, any kind of demographics. It's literally just based on psychographics.
Yeah, I think the base of it is emotion and ambition. And then obviously when you take it to different areas in South Africa and around the world, you will tailor that then. Obviously, if I send content to Veldskoen Nordics, which is one of our partners, then the models in the content will be Caucasian people. Because the majority
with that market segment.
Yeah. And if I send shoes to Veldskoen Nigeria, the models will be Black people, because that's what the majority of the people who live there look like. So you have to, once again, honest connection. Like, I mean, if I'm going to sell, plus size clothing, I'm not going to use a size 6 model. I'm going to use a model that looks like what I'm selling and that looks like the person I'm talking to. So we do segment in terms of, for Veldskoen's international partners, if we make specific content for them. And then it's also things like just where the photos are taken. If we're sending something to, for example, Veldskoen Australia, do a lot of their own content in front of Australian landmarks. So you take this South Africanness, these like you use the word psychographic, you use that, but you put it in the Australian context.
Yeah, because there's definitely a South African culture. And I think, like, when I go overseas, my husband's German, so we go to Germany a lot. We used to. And then when I come back, I can really feel the South African culture. Everybody's friendly, everybody's warm, everybody's loving and smiling, everybody's helpful, and this for me is South Africanism, like the word that you created. I completely get it. And when I got my pair of Veldskoens and I put them on, I feel that. I really feel that, So when I wear that, I feel like I am, South Africans, if you break down on the side of the road, people will help you, the majority of South Africans are amazing people. We've got this tiny minority of, douchebags, but I think every culture has that. Okay, so tell me about community building. How have you created a community? Like, what are some practical things you've done to create a community?
Okay, so obviously, like, to get people aware of our shoes, we've done most of our advertising because our company is like 4 years old now, going on 5 years old now. Yeah. We didn't have massive budgets to do TV ads and things. So community building for us largely was paid advertising, digital advertising, just to get people aware of us.
Yes.
But then when you do have people that then land on your page, is then to treat each person that lands there like an individual, and to treat them like they are the only person you are talking to at that moment. So every single DM you get, answer it. Every single like, every comment. Like, even if you just go and don't just like it back. If you're not going to like answer in words, go pick a special emoji for that person to show that. No, but I mean, Otherwise, people know that you're just going through your comments going like, you know, to fool the algorithm. But you don't fool the people.
No. And there's so many brands out there, big brands, but they don't have a massive amount of engagement. But so they may have about 5 or 6 or 10 comments, and whoever the community manager is hasn't even bothered to reply to these people. Some haven't even bothered to like them. And I'm sitting there going, "Oh my gosh! Like, are you really so busy that you can't even reply to these people and say like a real sentence back at them? That's what your job is."
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's 1,000 true fans are worth more than 10,000 people that just liked your page, because likes are free. I can go like any page.
Yeah.
It's if I have gone to like your page, you must also go check your new page likes. Then you must immediately connect with me and say, "Hi, go check my name. Go check that you spell it correctly. Hi, Anna Greenfield. Thank you so much for liking our page.
Wow.
We,
cool.
you know, are doing all these amazing things that we think you might connect with." If you take 2 minutes, and I mean, people think this is overwhelming because they think when you work for a big company that has hundreds of thousands of followers, you know, then getting 10,000 new followers a day, which is a great problem to have, by the way, then like doing that might take a bit of time, and you might need a team of people to do that. But most companies start small.
It's true.
So by the time you get by the time you get to those numbers, I mean, when you started out, you might get 2 or 3 new people a day. And then really going to them, and if you have, for example, let's say you see it's a Xhosa person, then if you have someone on your team that can answer them in Xhosa, do that. Real connection. These people see me as an individual. And then like doing 2 or 3 of those a day, every day, grows an engaged community.
That's true.
It might be a smaller organic community, but the people that are there for you, and they're there to give you your time. Because the biggest problem that I think marketers, not just content marketers, all marketers have, is to get through the clutter. There's so much stuff everywhere. So for someone to give you, and if you look at how people view content online, I mean, TikTok videos are like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
People don't even have 5 seconds for you. So when someone likes your page or shows up for you, take the time to show up for them, and then they will come back. And then next time you post a video, they'll watch the whole video, and they'll share it with their friend because you treated them like an individual.
That is true. I mean, it's a difficult thing as a marketer to do, because you start to see the numbers as numbers. And I often say, you know, behind every number is a real person. Behind every open mailer and every, you know, click is a real person. But I think as marketers, we tend to just start looking at numbers and start forgetting that there are actual human beings back there who have a huge capacity to further our brands if they feel loved, and, you know, just share our content in that at least.
The quickest way to cure yourself of that thinking is to think of yourself as a customer, and to think because I think marketing and customer service are like this, right?
Yes.
Where we make a promise, the customer service humans keep the promise.
True.
And they give us back new information so that we can pivot our messaging and, you know, say things to people that they actually care about. So that's why I think your content marketers and your customer service team and your sales team need to constantly be talking to each other and in each other's space. Because that's direct feedback from real people. The quickest way to remember that the person you're talking to online, if you're a community manager, is a real person, is to think of yourself as that person. If you are buying something, a service or a product, and someone, you know, goes to the effort to check that they spell your name correctly, and goes to the effort to, if they ask you how you are, or just to the effort, and this is not always, the best way to do this is to give you tangible examples. I can't give this in a generic way. But someone to treat you as an individual, then you'll become an advocate for the person who sold you the product, and then effectively for the product. So I'm a mom of 2. If I go to a car dealership and the salesperson starts showing me convertible cars, I mean, before even asking me, "Hi, what are you looking for?" If I just walk in and the salesperson goes, "Oh, I have this amazing car. You're totally going to look great in this car." Like, you know, he just makes an assumption. And I'm saying, okay, but I don't really want a convertible. What I actually want is something that has boot space and is safe and is, if you took the time to find that out from me, I might buy a car.
Yeah, I took my when I drove a BM, I took my BM for a service once, and I had to take my kids with. There was nothing for them to do. It was literally just set up for, single people or people without kids. And I was like, a lot of your customers have children. Why is there not even like something for them to do here? And so I completely agree. I think, too often the brands are literally just thinking about themselves and how they can get something out of the customer as opposed to what can I give to the customer. So, and also I love what you're saying about marketing and customer service are one, that customer service delivers on marketing's promises. I think that's amazing because very often the two sit in completely different camps. Or marketing is actually given customer service on social media saying, well, it's social media, you must also like look after the clients. And I'm also like, well, hold on a minute. That's not all how it works. But I suppose when the brand is smaller and you're so invested in people, I had a big problem the other day with YouCook. So I had ordered this box from YouCook and it said it came with 2 free cups and I didn't get the free cups. And it turns out that I had missed the promo code I was supposed to enter, as opposed to them making sure when I clicked on that link, the promo code was loaded. And so I was very nicely just pushing back. But here I'm dealing now with customer service, not with the marketing guys who created this mailer and put this offer together. Now I'm dealing with customer service, 2 totally different experiences. So marketing's put this great, not so great mailer because I missed that I had to enter the promo code. And customer services keep saying to me, no, you don't get the cups. And I kept gently saying, oh, I'd really like my cups now. I don't want to hate you guys because I do quite like YouCook. And eventually, after my persistence, carrying on and just not going away, I got my cups, which is great. It kept me a brand fan. But I think that's a big problem is you've got like marketing here and customer services here, and I'm the customer and I get a very disjointed feeling from the brand.
Absolutely. You guys need to talk to each other. I mean, if the marketing humans had just sent one mail to the customer service humans, not even walked over to them and said, hey, by the way, they just sent a mail to say, hi, guys, we're offering this. This is the promo code. If people ask you questions, just give them the promo code.
Exactly.
Or this is the thing we're doing. Everyone in the company needs to know what we're doing at all times. Yeah. Because if you work somewhere, you are a representative of that company. So even if you can't answer someone's question, the answer should be, I can't answer your question, but I'm going to go find you a human that can answer your question.
Exactly.
And you must know who that human is. I think with smaller companies, we all wear lots of hats. So a large part of my job this year has moved from making content to building out websites for our international partners, which is also content, but it's slightly different kind of content. And our customer service human has actually become our community management human. Like at the same time, because we're a small company and because everything is touching everything else, it helps us stay on top of things. So I think in larger companies, it's communication between the departments so that you all look like a team. Yeah.
So which which are your channels that you are embracing now that are sort of new marketing tech? Like I know podcasting's been around for a while, so it's not very new, but a lot of brands have still not embraced podcasting. Webinars, I think, have just taken off because of COVID. So what are the new channels that you're using that you found are really working for you in, continuing with this brand and storytelling ethos?
Okay, so I think our customers mostly, because I mean, most of our customers are between 18 and let's say 55. So a lot of them still hang out on Facebook. 18 and 25-year-olds of tomorrow are hanging out on TikTok at the moment. And on Instagram. So we're keeping an eye on TikTok. We're not really doing something there, but we need to start doing something there soon because we want to catch those guys.
Yeah.
We're spending a lot of time on Facebook, still a lot of time on Instagram. Not so much that we change channels. We're changing how we use the channels we're on. Because as tech develops, and the big companies like Google and Facebook, that eventually just like dictate how we consume content by bringing out new technologies and changing their algorithm to favor those technologies. You need to get on board with that. So I would say it would be to recycle content in a way that the algorithm likes. So the thing that Instagram likes at the moment is Reels. So where we used to have 3-minute videos, we would now cut those down to bite-sized reels and pop them in the reels. And then the algorithm likes us, and this is where people are now consuming. So it's the same people. You just got to go where their attention span is.
Exactly.
And to make sure that you get the people that look like your people of tomorrow, you've also got to sort of pay attention on where their attention span is. Does that answer your questions?
Yeah, completely agreed. And I love what you're pointing out, that like if I look at Nike and we take a leaf from their book or a page from their book, basically they are investing in their customer up to 10, 15 years before they're able to buy their first shoe. You know, I mean, that's a long-term brand journey, brand commitment to their customer. You know, that the soccer stadiums that they've built in Soweto, incredible investment into their communities. And I love what you're saying, because I do think that the marketer of the future is investing in their customer of the future now already, you know, so identifying who they are and starting to build that brand relationship with them now already.
Yeah, and then hanging out where they hang out, like even if it's just a little bit, so they're just aware of you. But also, like, as people change and trends change, that you're aware of how they changed, and when it happens, you're ready with an answer.
And podcasting, with your history in radio, you must be loving podcasting.
I am loving podcasting. I know it's not new, but I think it's definitely something that a lot of people are not seeing for how awesome it is. And I mean, a part of me is talking from an emotional radio place, and a part of me is talking from a, like, you can reach people who don't like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, you know, don't have 2 seconds for a piece of content. You can have people who are committing sometimes up to an hour and a half of their day to spend dedicated time with a program. So if we go back to my obsession with Malcolm Gladwell, podcasting is consumed in the same way people consume series on Netflix. You binge, right? So especially in the world we're in now with lockdown, people listen to podcasts while they vacuum, while they run, while they clean the house, while they can't do other things. So you have a captive audience.
Exactly.
This is where people used to say radio and cinema, you know, where the captive audience was. Audiences was. I'm an Afrikaans girl. My is and ahs get confused. Sorry. But now I think what podcasting has done, it has got this magical captive audience thing that radio used to have before we would sort of have the radio on and the phone on and everything.
Yes, that's true.
People do it when they run and when they're cleaning the house.
Yeah.
But you have the power of digital, meaning you can find the exact podcast that has the exact people listening to it that you want to talk to.
So what is your podcast strategy for Veldskoen?
So our podcast for Veldskoen is, we have a podcast for Veldskoen that we started this year. It's called The South Africanness. So we haven't started investing on buying ad space on other people's podcasts yet. I think we will look at that into the future. But that's once again a bit of a search job, because I think the right podcast for us to advertise on is out there at the right price, because it's a lot cheaper to advertise with one podcaster than it is with for example, a radio station, a commercial radio station. That's a bit of research that we still need to do. But what we have done is we've started creating our own podcast called The South Africanness, which does a lot of the narrative of what it is to be South African and what people like to be South African. Where we speak to interesting expats. So people all around the world from South Africa that are homesick and that are doing amazing things. So it connects with our narrative, and people who are homesick, for example, because expats for us in any country around the world, that's low-hanging fruit, right?
Exactly.
Piece of hope.
Yeah, agreed.
So talking to those kinds of people and then having those kinds of people listen to it, we don't talk about shoes at all. We just talk about the things the shoe represents. And then we'll say, you know, find us online. And then they go to Facebook. And then they
have you contacted Elon yet?
We haven't. He's not responding to our tweets or to our mails.
Have you sent him a pair of shoes? You just need his shoe size.
We'll send him all the shoes.
Yeah, the full range.
No, we actually, it's one of our running jokes on the podcast is that, like, you know, we'll say, hey, Elon, you know, we don't have time to talk to you. Have other interesting South Africans. But I mean, we've spoken to Vinnie Pillay, we've spoken to Ran Noyner. We've spoken to also, like, not all of them are super famous. Some of them are just super interesting.
Yeah, I suppose they need to just embody the emotions, your emotional segmentation, your emotional stories, emotive stories.
Yeah, but I think that definitely the next thing we'll do is we'll take that content and then we might pitch it into a TV show, because we have the guests, we have the stories. So
exactly, yes.
I think another thing content marketers need to realize, especially if you work for a small company that's on a budget, is content can live again in another shape. So where we took our 3-minute video earlier and we cut it down to 15 seconds to make a reel for Instagram, we can take our podcast episode and we can transcribe it using YouTube's translation app. And then we have a written down version, which is great for SEO, for example. Or we can cut it into bite-sized little podcasts that you share on your Facebook as teasers to get to the big podcast.
Exactly.
Or we can take the transcribed version and use it as a draft for a book. Like, technology makes one piece of content, if you're just smart about reusing it, especially if it's an evergreen piece of content.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't need to necessarily spend money on new content all the time. You just need to think cleverly about how to use the content you have and then to show it to other people. Because this is the thing, is I make a 3-minute video and then I show it to my 5 or 6 dedicated audiences that we've set up on Facebook marketing. And then sort of now it's oh, these videos have now been seen by everyone. But in 2 months' time, you could show, if it's evergreen content, you can show those videos again.
Yeah.
Because not all those people clicked on the videos. And also, if you have the option between a video and, is it a GIF or a GIF? I know what it does, but I don't know what it's called.
It's a GIF. GIF.
Right. Thank you. The GIF. Right. If you have the option between making a video and a GIF, make a GIF, because a GIF plays automatically. It's 1 click less.
Yes. I completely agree. Yeah.
They've seen it before they could decide that they wanted to see it.
Exactly.
And it's short.
And people love that. I don't want to click. If I'm scrolling, I just want something to play, put subtitles on it, keep it short, and so I can keep on scrolling. The worst thing for me is have to click and load and watch an ad, especially if it's on YouTube. YouTube's shocking. So I completely agree with you. So it's basically about creating all these tiny little content assets. And the other thing about an asset that I've realized that a lot of marketers don't do is they'll create an asset once, and then they measure it, when they do their report at the end of the month, if they do a report at the end of the month, and they don't go back and revisit that asset that is continuously just growing and growing in views. So anytime you do a collaboration with somebody, or you create a piece of content, like this, this podcast goes up on a video, we turn it into snippets, we break it up on social content, we write a blog about it. So we leverage it as much as we can. We recycle everything, constantly giving it air, giving it life. And then the whole trick is to keep going back and reviewing, how are these pieces doing, so that you can see, oh, now we're, on the 600 views, we're on the 1,000 views, and it just keeps growing for you. So there's literally, they're assets. They literally are assets. And I agree with you. You can definitely keep recycling, because guaranteed nobody saw it. And using the Facebook pixel, you can know which audience has seen it, so that you can show it to the audience that hasn't yet seen it or engaged. So
absolutely. You have the benefit of where radio and TV programs used to have this thing of I am giving this half an hour of my time because I like consuming this content. I mean, I used to listen to Gareth Cliff when I was in high school on 5FM, and I used to listen for Gareth Cliff. So you had that thing of a whole bunch of humans that go for Gareth Cliff are spending their time there. But now you know exactly what those humans look like, because we have Facebook pixels to track. So you know that, so you can find the right people at the right place where their attention is for a long time.
Exactly.
That's why I love podcasts. And like you said, with the asset, with the thing you mentioned about assets now, if I think about Malcolm Gladwell, I consumed series 1 to series 5 backwards, because I found series 5 first of Malcolm Gladwell's podcasts. And by the time I got to series 1, and those podcasts were made in 2016, all the adverts on them were adverts that were relevant now. So his team goes back to stuff from 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and puts ads for now in them, because that's the way people consume podcasts. So the same piece of content can have new ads jammed in between forever and ever and ever if the content is evergreen.
Wow. That's brilliant.
So, right? Isn't that amazing? And I mean, so if your product or your company has a podcast that grows, and at first we have 4 episodes, so people will binge 4 episodes, and in 6 months' time we'll have 40 episodes, and then people will binge those. And for the month of November, all of our podcasts have, one product advertised on them. Whoever binge listens to these podcasts will hear our ad so many times in November because it's on all the episodes, and will not mind the fact that they hear the ad because they have that connection. They show up. They have made an appointment to listen to that podcast.
I love that. That's a great idea. So tell me, do you do a lot of traditional marketing still, or is it mostly digital marketing?
Mostly digital marketing for us because it's a visual product because we sell shoes. So, I mean, I just went on about podcasts for a long time, but people want to see our shoes, and the impact we can make is immediate. Yeah. So, if you see a photo of the shoes, you'll immediately like them or you won't. Yes. And then we'll go into whether it's comfortable or whether it's not. So the cheapest way for us to find the exact people we want to talk to is digital, and is places like Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook. Yeah. And now 100%. Looking at Google.
Look, I think there's still place in the world for traditional marketing. I just think digital's cheaper. That's why we're a digital agency. We're actually a traditional agency. We can do anything marketing related. It's just that 99% of what everybody looks for is digital because it's cheapest, quickest, and trackable,
most accurate, most measurable thing you can do. But I mean, sure, we could put a shoe on a park bench or on a bus. That's cool. It all goes somewhere. It's just harder to measure that than to measure the digital stuff. And if you're strapped for cash, you want to know like what's the result? What's the ROI?
So speaking of results and ROI, which for you is the best platform for sales or channel? What gives you the biggest in your experience?
I think for us still Facebook is the big one. It's
ads. Is it ads or is it content? What are you talking?
It used to be ads. I think you hit a ceiling with ads. There's a stage where with paid Facebook ads, I'll give you a tangible example. So I think we're on 75 or something like that thousand Facebook followers for our Veldskoen page. And we might, for the same amount of money that we spend on working with an influencer, if we spend that on Facebook ads, and this might just be that, the audience is fatigued, that you show it to, you might get less new followers from spending, let's say, 15,000 Rand on ads than you would by signing up with 2 or 3 really smart micro-influencers. And then for the 24 hours or the weekend that they spend hanging out with your brand and making content with your brand, you might get a lot more new people liking your page. And I mean, people liking your page doesn't mean they're going to buy from you. What it does give you is it gives you the opportunity to show up for those people, like I said earlier, and treat them like individuals and it just gives you an influx of like, here's a lot of people all at once that are looking at you. So show them something. It's getting people to like your page is an opportunity. It's not like you're not finished now.
Exactly. That's the beginning.
So we found, for example, with Minnie Dlamini, in one weekend, Minnie Dlamini shared one picture for us. We made a pair of Veldskoen minis because she's got a baby. One pair of Veldskoen babies, and then a pair for her and a pair for her husband. And she shared one picture for us, and we gained 3,000 followers over a weekend.
Wow.
Right. So, I mean, with paid marketing, that's possible. But depending on if you have the right influencer, you can spend less money and get more people to look at you, faster. And then it's just about keeping those eyes on you by showing up for them. And then obviously the ones that really aren't interested will leave. That's fine. But if you show up for the ones that are interested, they'll stay. So I would say, it's moved from paid marketing to really targeted smart influencer marketing now for us.
That makes sense. And so what is bringing you the biggest sales? Because that was more like following. So I think there are a lot of brands out there that are like, we need results, we need sales. So usually for us as a brand, as a digital agency, the first thing we'll switch on is different types of paid ads, like shopping ads, shopping feed ads, or, Facebook, Google. But that doesn't build relationship, and it definitely doesn't build a community. It's literally just like putting product in front of as many. And we can create customer journeys, obviously using the pixel. So there's awareness, interest, desire, and the ads change as people, and the video changes as people move down the funnel. But so would you still go back and say, in terms of the biggest number of sales, which digital channel do you think contributes the most sales for your brand?
For us, it's where most of our customers hang out, which is Facebook. Still.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and I think with the funnels, I mean, you don't have just one funnel going at a time. You've got people who've just met us, and you show them one thing, and you have people that have bought from us twice before, and you show them something else, and you have people that are very angry with us, and you phone them personally. So you have all these funnels running at the same time for where people are in the journey.
Yes.
And then eventually that all adds up to sales.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that the place where we're still doing most of that is still Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook is still hands down, except for our very hardcore B2B customers in specific.
In which case, we're also looking at LinkedIn, because we have a B2B leg. A lot of people buy Veldskoen and then put their company logo on for corporate gifts, and also just if they have large teams, it looks really smart if your entire workforce is wearing the same pair of Veldskoen. But that is something that we do. Like, we'll create awareness on LinkedIn, and then it almost becomes like a door-to-door sales situation where you buy not so much Veldskoen from Veldskoen, but you buy Veldskoen from Jared, who works for Veldskoen, and it's a relationship thing again.
Yeah, no, totally. And so for engagement, what would you say is where are your biggest results coming from when it comes to, like, let's say you had the goal of engagement?
For engagement, it's I think it's a combination. Obviously, if you have a story, stories are great for engagement and for sharing. And if there's a little hook, like you can win a pair of Veldskoen, obviously, or you can win a pair of Veldskoen and some Sugar Girl rum together if we partner with another brand. This is a quick way to get people to share and to engage, and I suppose a cheap way to get people to share and engage is to have a quick little competition. And it doesn't have to be a massive competition. The prize can literally be one pair of shoes. One pair of shoes for a great caption, for a picture that we have, to create a conversation and a real connection, and to do something together with our audience. So it can be a very small prize, because the thing that the audience member has to do, if they just have to share it with a friend, that takes 2 seconds. If they have to like or tag, it takes 2 seconds. And if they have to think of a cute little caption, it takes a little bit more than 2 seconds, but it's fun. And they want to see how many people liked their caption and how many people got. So what they're investing, I mean, I'm not saying write me an essay and I might give you a pair of shoes. I'm saying, write a caption for this picture and you might get a pair of shoes. But if you don't get the pair of shoes, the effort you have to put in is not so massive that you won't do it. So whenever you do something online, it must sort of be like the fish they're trying to catch must be proportional to how hard they're going to work for it.
I like that idea. Make people think about your brand for a whole long time. And their reward is maybe a pair of shoes at the end of the day. So what's in store for 2021? What are obviously we're all praying that it's not as bad a year as 2020 was. But do you have any new trends that you are going to be exploring in 2021, or what's in store for you?
A large part of what we did in 2020 was to take Veldskoen. I mean, with the internet boom that happened because of COVID, people are all shopping online. We had sort of realized that, that the South Africans who are buying online are sort of already buying online. So we're shifting a lot of our business into big retailers, and also, now introducing Veldskoen to the world. So we've established a lot of partnerships, Veldskoen partner stores in various countries. Veldskoen Germany, Veldskoen Canada, Veldskoen Islands happening this week. We've got in the pipeline, we've got UAE, we've got Italy, we've got Portugal.
Wow.
So Veldskoen has now sort of got a little foot everywhere in the world. And what we're now going to do is we're going to strengthen our brand so it becomes a globally recognized South African brand.
That's awesome.
What we're going to do now is Veldskoen will be, it's the soul of South Africa, but we're showing it to everyone everywhere now.
I love it. That's fantastic. And I heard that you even had some royal people who cannot be named wearing your shoes, and some really famous folks.
Oh, yes, we do. We can name them now because they're not royal anymore.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, they broke up with the royals. So yeah, I mean, we had a massive, and this once again is a testament to the power of an influencer, right? I mean, when Harry bought a pair of our shoes in London, there wasn't even an image of him in the shoes. There was a little headline.
Wow.
I think it was there was a little headline in the paper that said, apparently Harry's a fan, with a picture of our shoes.
Wow.
And our sales over a weekend just boomed in London.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, so that's all you need.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's the credibility of Harry, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to be like Harry and buy those shoes. They didn't even say Harry. Not that I think that people really use their last names.
I know. That's true. What are they?
Like Windsor? I think it's Windsor.
I've been watching The Crown and I should know this. Thank you so much for your time and for your inspiration and your words of wisdom. I really, really appreciate you being on the show. Everybody, thank you to Anna Greenfield and to Veldskoen. Bye. Thanks for watching.